up for you.
Hey everybody, welcome to the AllReady Stand-Up, the community stand-up for Humanitarian Toolbox. We are coding for the greater good, and we have a project that we have been working on for some time. If this is your first time joining us, you can connect with us on GitHub. We have all the links to project information in the video below, so please do check that out. We're going to get started. We just do a little thing here where we go around the table and everybody gives a little update as to what they're working on, what they're hearing about, and what's going on in regards to the project. So Tony, we'll throw it over and start with you.
Yep, so as we've mentioned before, but in case you haven't heard, we're driving towards a launch date in December. We're looking to get to V1.0. We've got folks that are ready to use the application. And so we've set up a set of milestones, one in October next Saturday, one in mid-November, and then one in December. And so we're aligning issues based upon priority, P1 being the highest, P3. And so for our milestone, that's this October, we're focusing in on getting in the requests from getasmokealarm.org so we know who needs the services that's going to be provided by the application, and as well as the communication back with those requesters, the homeowners, the apartment renters, whomever they are that are looking for that information. So we're prioritizing there. We've got a test-a-thon, in fact, 2 weeks ago, I want to say now. And so we've got a number of issues we also pulled in from there. And folks like Mike and Steve have been putting in a pile of pull requests, and a bunch of other folks, Anil, others. We're up to 2,100 commits, and I know I pulled in about 40 pull requests so far this month and about 10 or 15 just this week alone. So got great activity, a lot of things moving forward. And so once we get through this October milestone, I'll move stuff through to November, and there we're going to focus on the whole workflow and how you arrange and really work with the volunteers that are going to be tied to the deliveries of services. And then in December, it's going to be catch-up and covering everything that we need to do in order to go live.
Right on. Okay. Yeah, excellent. It's amazing to see here. There's been, I think I was looking at the on the pull request side of things, and we're now dealing with over almost 1,400 issues and pull requests that have been reported and resolved, and so just amazing traffic. That's been awesome to see here. So, Richard, what's on your plate these days?
Been working on a couple of new codeathons. The one coming up earliest is in November, and that is November 19th in the Netherlands, in Eindhoven. It's part of .NET Zuid, or .NET South.nl, user group down there that I visited a while ago, and they're keen to get working on it, so we'll be putting together a group of folks there, and hopefully they'll wrap up on the Saturday afternoon for their time. We'll be right in time for this live stream and for an overall check-in on how they did for the day. So I'm excited to make that work. And I just got confirmation we are definitely going to be doing a codeathon, 2-day one, the Monday, Tuesday leading into NDC in London. So that's actually at the Excel Center. That's the workshop day, so there will be people going to workshops then, but we're hoping some local folks. It's free to attend, and there will be food. We'll have a 2-day codeathon in January in London.
Wow, that is awesome. Sounds great.
Well, you know, from my perspective, a good goal is to start spreading AllReady around. You know, we're getting to a point where the feature set's pretty compressive. In the end, this is about helping organizations work with their skilled volunteers effectively, you know, utilizing everybody's time well. So not only is it a chance to have conversation with more parts of the Red Cross, but also with other organizations that need the same kind of service.
Absolutely. Okay, so I will go next to Steve, who is one of those devs who's making a ton of stuff happen. Steve, let us know what you're working on this week.
Thanks, James. Yeah, so this week, playing with Bing, got the map integration working on the itinerary details screen, which was a learning curve. So yeah, continuing from that, I'm going to be looking at probably plugging that in a few more places and trying to get the selection pieces working as well. Tying that all together, and potentially looking at some of the documentation stuff as well, once we sort of determine what the priorities are on that.
Excellent, thank you. Mike, you and I had a session yesterday talking about request imports.
Yeah, I basically after our conversation, I'm kind of taking a bit of a lead. I think it's on issue. There's actually two issues. One was originally written by James, I believe, 1032. And then the other one that Tony, you had actually done, which I believe is kind of like, that is 1084. This is the one that has all the information about the message updates for already requester communication. So there are a couple things involved with that. One is that there was a pull request 1111, which I've now taken down and I'm starting to work, which is basically a web API controller. It'll be taking requests in. So it's that, and then taking, once we've actually imported those requests, starting the whole scheduled job, the chain of SMS messages that'll be going out to confirm with requesters for the requests that were imported. So there's a kind of a 1-2 punch here. On the first hand, we kind of have the scheduler, and we've decided to try to use Hangfire.io. And Steve Gordon, actually, I think you had initially mentioned Hangfire.io in one of our conversations online. And I have it implemented and running locally right now, and it seems like a really solid framework. So that'll be what we use for the scheduling for 7 days before, 1 day before, day of. The other piece will be, okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it looks like a pretty elegant solution. The challenge that we're going to have is getting that guy running up on Azure. We weren't able to find a good instance of it, like a good example of somebody who had actually pushed to Azure and made it happen. However, it appears to just run on a the scheduling component of it seems to run on a background, like on a process external to that of the web server. So that's where it kind of gets a little bit cloudy as to what's going to happen when we're running inside of a web app in Azure and we deploy it out. Because it is technically backed by IIS, but
we can run an IIS, like you said, James, but what we probably should be doing is we probably should be making it run in its own process and having a separate server. That way we can scale out if we ever have that need.
So from a community perspective, if there is somebody who's familiar with Hangfire.io and getting that running out in Azure, we'd love to get some input on that. Just throw your name on one of the, we'll maybe set up an issue to talk about that and reach out to some folks at Hangfire and see if they can give us some advice.
Right, and not just that, but also we'll have to update the deployment script. So part of the deploy would be that separate process, which would run the Hangfire.io server. So it's a couple different things, but I think that's the right framework to use. We're heading in the right direction. So the second thing I was mentioning is a Twilio text message back. So confirm yes or confirm no, and then building the controller that's going to take those replies back from the requesters in, and then update the request table to the proper status. So that's kind of the direction I'm moving in right now. There's a good amount of work to be done, but I think that if there's a way to like break some pieces out, like you had mentioned, James, it's probably we get some more help from other people, or Steve Gordon, if you have anything that you could jump in with, if you have any experience with the framework to help us out.
Yeah, not a huge amount, just what I'd read on it really, but yeah, more than happy to get involved. I've done some stuff with APIs recently, so talking back to another API, for example, using the HTTP client, we can certainly break that off maybe, and I can take that one to look at.
Okay. Yeah.
Excellent. And then of course, I think that's everything on your side. Those two issues, Mike, or the ones?
Yeah, I mean, it's those two issues that encompass all those things I just said.
Yeah, exactly. There's a large list there. We'll probably need to break that down, do a better job of breaking that down a little bit, so we can get some help for you on that as well. So the tail end of that is after the issues are in the system, if they are request origin of an external party, such as the Red Cross, there is an API that we have to call back. And so I've been exchanging a couple of emails with some folks at the Red Cross that have the getasmokealarm.org website, and we are just finalizing some of the details there. We have some basic, we've got a pre-prod environment, a lower level environment that we can use to test against with some sample data and whatnot. So it's looking good there, and it looks like we've got the right message shape and stuff like that. So getting some of those spikes now that we've built off to the side and getting them running inside the application is going to be good and crucial to updating request information that came from third parties. So a while back we created the CSV import, which allows a standalone event to give us a CSV file. We can pull that in as an administrator, import that data, and assign it to an event. This is the next evolution of that, is keeping the third-party organization updated as to the status of assignment. So that is kind of what I've been working on this week, and I've got some other side projects that are wrapping up this weekend, so that will enable me to get back onto this a little bit more wholly, and I'm excited about that. So, Tony, I'll just go back to you. Anybody else have anything else they want to add to the? Not just quite yet. Okay, Tony, we'll send it back to you then, and just to wrap us up.
Yep. So before we hang up here, the big thing is like we said, we got our launch going towards December. We're marching towards issues. I mentioned the testathon earlier. Big shout out to Wade there, who helped us find a whole bunch of issues, which is great. So we have things to work on and we can fix them before we go live. And next Friday, the 21st, I believe, I will be in Houston for the Grace Hopper Open Source Day for the conference there. And so we'll be doing a day codathon, hackathon there. And then, as Richard said, we've got a couple coming in November and January. And otherwise, we're just chugging along and want to thank everybody, especially Mike and Steve on the call, who are our most prolific and awesome, but everybody who's been contributing to the project, just seeing the constant stream of code and updates and improvements. It's very empowering. Hopefully we'll find that infinite CPU issue we ran into during the testathon. That one still boggles my mind, but things are looking great. Really looking forward to the launch.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We will be back on same bat time, same bat channel next week, next Saturday, 10 a.m. Central, and we will give you all the updates from them. Be sure to check out the links in the bottom of the video. It's got information about the project, how to get connected, how to find out some more about our documentation, and download the repo, and all those things are all there in the notes. And feel free to leave comments and questions, and we'll do our best to answer them either here on the Standup or on the GitHub repo. Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.